Hello, today we are going to be subtracting three-digit numbers using computational strategies. The equation we're solving today is 314 subtract 248. Let's get started with an estimate. So to solve for an estimate, we're going to use the friendly number method. Up here at 314, we are going to subtract 4, leaving us with 310. And on the other side, we are going to add 2, giving us 250. We're on the right track for friendly number. However, I would like to remove 40 from this side, which would leave us with 310 subtract 210. This equals 100. Now we can go ahead and subtract this extra 40 that we removed. So 100 minus 40 gives us an estimate of 60 to get started with. Okay, as you can see here, we have a concrete model of the equation 314 subtract 248. Let's go ahead and start in our ones place value. We have 4 subtract 8. We recognize that we cannot take 8 away from 4. Therefore, we need to move into our tens column to exchange this rod for 10 individual units. I'll go ahead and do that now. Now we're adding these 10 units in place of this one rod. So we need to now go ahead and subtract 8 from our units at the top. We have 2, 4, 6, 8. We'll go get rid of those, leaving us with 6 units. I'll go ahead and move those to the bottom, symbolizing that we have solved the ones place value. Moving into our tens, we have 0 rods represented at the top and 4 rods at the bottom. Therefore, we also need to go ahead and exchange one of these 100s flats for 10 rods. I'll go ahead and do that now. Now that we have 10 rods on the top, we can go ahead and remove the 4 rods necessary. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Take away these, leaving us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 rods. I'll do the same, slide them to the bottom, representing that we have solved both our ones and our tens place value. Moving into the hundreds, we see that we have 2 flats and 2 flats, which represents 200, subtract 200. We can go ahead, remove those, and we see here that we are left with 6 rods representing 60, 6 units representing 6, 60 plus 6 gives us an answer of 66. Okay, so jumping into our pictorial representation, I'm going to go ahead and draw out this equation. These large squares represent our hundreds flats, 314, 1 rod there, with our 4 individual units on the side here. And we are subtracting from 314, 248. So symbolically, we can recognize that at the top here, this represents 314, whereas the bottom is currently representing 248. If we go ahead and start to subtract these here, let me just draw this line to represent that we will move our completed answers for these place values below the line. So we see here that we have 4 subtract 8. This is not possible, therefore we must jump into our tens column and exchange this 10 with 10 individual units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So 10 plus the 4 units we already had is 14. Take away 8. We're going to go ahead and remove 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, including these 8 here, leaving us with only these 6 units left. So we'll move those down and we'll go ahead and erase these. I'm also going to go ahead and add these 6 units down here at the bottom so you can see them pictorially represented the whole way through. Moving on to our tens column, you can see that there are no rods here and 4 rods there, and we need to also jump into our hundreds place value to exchange 1 flat for 10 rods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, we have 10 rods at the top and we need to remove 4. So let's go ahead and do that now. 1, 2, 3, 4, also eliminating these 4 that we don't need, which leaves us with 6 rods there. and that represents 60, so we'll go ahead and move those down to the bottom as well. All right, lastly, we're going to see here that in our hundreds place value, we have 2 flats and 2 flats representing 200, subtract 200, which ultimately cancels out, giving us 0. At the bottom here, you can see we have our 6 rods and our 6 units. If we add these together, it gives us a total of 66, the same answer we completed our concrete model with. Moving on to a personal strategy to solve the equation 314 minus 248, I'm going to use expanded notation. So first off, I look at 314, I represent it as 300 plus 10 plus 4, and 248 is expanded into 200 plus 40 plus 8. All right, starting off actually with our hundreds now, I can go ahead and take 300, subtract 200, leaving me with 100. Moving on to our tens value, we see that we have 10, subtract 40, which we actually cannot complete. Therefore, we are going to look to our hundreds value and exchange this 100. So we're going to remove it from there, and we're actually going to add 100 over here because we've moved it, which now gives us 110 minus 40, which I can go ahead and solve, and that is 70. Okay, lastly, we have our ones, 4, subtract 8. We're in the same predicament here, so we also need to come over to our tens place value and borrow 10. So we can go ahead and subtract 10 from 70, which will actually give us 60 remaining in the tens column. And this 10 is going to come over here, join the 4, giving us 14, subtract 8, which is 6. So now we can see in our hundreds value, we were left with 0. In our tens value, we're left with 60. And the ones left us with 6. So we can go ahead, add the 60 plus 6, giving us an answer of 66. Lastly, we can now see that every time we've solved this equation, 314 minus 248, using multiple computational strategies, we got 66 every time. We're just going to revisit our estimation at the start, which we can recall was 60, and therefore you can see our estimation was close, and our concrete final answer for 314 minus 248 is 66.